Piyush, welcome aboard Ocean 18. I'm
Hi.
interviewing a true legend today. Well, first of all, you are here because you have been awarded the LIA Legend Award. So that's ginormous. And
I feel good about being here and lovely to be with you out here.
oh, thank you so much. We talk a little bit offline. I can't wait to dive into the questions. I don't have to say, like, of course, like super interesting. Yesterday I did a little bit of reading. There is like a very substantial, like a Wikipedia page on you. But of course, the thing that really, stood out for me was like that you are one of the nine children, and you were telling me that you are number eight.
Yes, I am
Seven
number 8.
sisters. Then number eight is you, and your little brother is number nine. This is like magnificent.
I think my parents were trying to build a cricket team or a football team. So 9 children and the 2 of them, we made 11.
How many players do you need for cricket?
11.
11 play. Oh, it's like soccer.
Yeah, like soccer.
Like
11.
soccer. That's interesting. Do you play cricket?
I played a lot of cricket. I played professional cricket
Oh, okay.
till I was about 26.
Oh, so you had a very late start in advertising. I
Yes.
mean, considering
Yeah, I
like
was
the
27 that time.
So I started the same time as you. Of course, I didn't become a legend, but yeah. Oh, okay, that's very interesting. It's considered a late start, considering
Yeah,
like the
it
time
was
now.
a late start
Yeah.
because first 3 years of my working life, I was a tea taster.
Oh.
I went and worked as a tea taster, and then I got bored of it. And then somebody said, "Why don't you try advertising? You seem to say lines which are more interesting than what we see." So I said, "Okay, I'll give it a shot."
Are you a writer by trade?
I actually joined as a business partner, as a
Okay.
client servicing person.
Client service. I read yesterday.
Then
Yeah.
I was caught by my boss writing copy, and he said, "Actually, you write good copy. Why don't you switch to creative?"
Okay.
And that's how it happened. So it just happened, luck by chance.
Great. First question now. Arthur Miller, one of the greatest playwrights of the 20th century, once said that we do not remember the past, we remember the future. Have you ever had memories of the future? And I think like it's a very interesting quote. And I gave it like a lot of thinking like when I first
I
heard the
struggled
quote.
a lot with it also. Let me be very honest. What exactly did he mean by that? And then I figured out that actually you complicate things yourself. You look at it and say, it's very close to my nose. I understand. It's basically saying, have you learned something from the past, which has a reflection on the future? And you will remember that so that you do good things again and you never do wrong things again. So that is my understanding of memories of the future, that memories of the future come from the past. There's nothing that comes to you suddenly. Something has influenced you. Something has...
It's interesting. They ask him about these. The quote comes from the fact that when he wrote Death of a Salesman, he was the very first playwright where the timeline was a complete mash-up. So it was a continuous, without hard cuts, shifted between past and present, past and present, past and present. And at that time, it was very innovative, to the point that when they were to design the set, they had a little bit of problem. They didn't know how to truly like create this flashback because it was a continuous moving throughout the timeline. The way I interpret it, which I thought is, and this comes with my obsession of the time in itself, is like we only own truly the past. I remember another director, famous director says like, have you ever occurred to you that life is only a never-ending memory? Because the present, you can't catch it, and the future, you don't know it. However, what we think as the future, it becomes very quickly the past, and that's where you remember the future, you don't remember the past, because what's the past, it was the future a few seconds ago.
I understand that. And
Yeah.
actually, everything in our life would have some influence from the past. You don't pull out things of the air. something from the past says, ah, this might have an influence on the future. Like, for instance, taking it very simply, like people have been talking about climate change.
Right.
It is from what you see about climate change that you're saying what will become of it. What can I do to make it better? And how can I influence people to make it better? So, yes, there is, in my opinion, there is definitely, it's past. There is a dream also. And it's a mixture of past and dream. But the dream also is also dependent on the past. You don't dream things which didn't have little bit, an iota of memory in your mind.
Do you find yourself like thinking of the past quite often, or you are
I
kind of
think in
person?
two terms. One is mistakes that we may have made as a society, or I may have made as an individual. That's my past. Not to repeat them is my future. Or good things that I might have done in the past, that I say, hello, if I keep doing these things, and if I keep influencing people around me, then we'll probably be a better place to live in. So yes, past is the source.
Second question. Neil deGrasse Tyson is a very charming scientist, very public. You know, he has like a very strong social presence. He once said there have been about 100 billion people who ever lived, but the people that could have existed, they are far more than 100 billion. The number of possible combination of genes that can create an authentic human being is stupendously larger than 100 billion. This means that you are alive against stupendous odds. Breathing air, observing sunset, gazing to the night. Most people who could exist, they will never experience that. See, so the gift of life, only to be here is already a gift, because you could have been like left in the darkness and not exist at all. If you were to distill into a few words, what is the most fascinating things about living? I know there are so many things, but
See, it's not that complicated. I live in a country with 130 billion anyway. I think you should actually appreciate whatever is happening around you. You'll always discover new things. To my mind, to worry about that there are so many beings that exist in different forms is to look at it with a sense of opportunity, of saying, I will meet something that exists which I didn't know. I will probably learn from there. I'll probably be able to pass on something. So you can make it complicated and complicated for yourself, or you can say, hello, I have so much more to see. I have so many more people to meet. I may not know it all, but maybe there'll be something that will enlighten me as it goes along. So it's a gift to mankind that 100 billion things exist. We don't even know if there are beings that exist. Don't get confused by it. Open your arms and say, okay, let it come.
do you find that at this particular moment in your life, you reach like a level of contentment, meaning like, you know, it's like we live in a society, at least like in America, of course, like the society in America is quite different from like, you know,
Sure.
India, but in America, the hustle culture is everything, right? You constantly have to chase. It's very, very hard to say, you know what? I think I'm okay. I think like the chase, it might be done, and I think like I'm content with what I have. Yes, I could have more, but it wouldn't make me more happy. And I think those few people that exercise that kind of rights, one of them in the show business was Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
And everybody thought it was crazy because it's a crazy thing to say in the States. I think I'm done with the chase. I think I'm okay with what I have. I don't need more. Do you feel like you have that kind of sentiment, or?
Let's put it two ways. One is for me, and one is for India as such. Now, there is a much greater sense in a large country like India of being quite content with where you are. If you go to the smaller villages, if you go to places, you see that they are very happy beings and not looking forward to chasing something. They are quite content with the way life is. They're not bothered about how others live in larger cities. And if you look at me, I think I'm a bit a part of both. Because I've come from a smaller city
Right.
in Jaipur and other places, and I came and worked in larger cities like Mumbai. Chase was never my trip in any case. I took things as they came. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed the passion. I was not chasing anything but chasing my own passion. So chase, again, it can be interpreted two ways. Are you chasing the betterment of life or you're chasing contentment? So
You
it's
can chase
both ways.
contentment as
You
well.
can chase contentment. Contentment comes from how satisfied are you with the passion that you're chasing. So if you look at it both ways, I think a growing society has a greater balance of both. Evolved society like America, where the chase has been quite rapid over the years, maybe there are people, you'll find fewer Jim Carreys. I think you'll find more Jim Carreys in smaller villages of India.
I agree.
So that's the way I look at it.
Marcel Proust wrote much of his 7-volume masterpiece In Search of Lost Time in bed. The Paris Review said Stein quotes Proust biographer Diana Fuss, describing him as writing from a semi-recurrent position, suspended midway between the realm of sleeping and walking. He wrote it in bed. And he kept like the journal or the notepad, the book, whatever it was, like on his lap. Almost in a twilight zone, because the old In Search of Lost Time, the old 7 volumes, are all based on memories. If you were to write your memories, where would you write them? Where? What it would be like? What would the physical place be? Where would you be writing them? Would you be sitting in bed, for instance, or in your office on the sofa? I tell you, like me, for instance, I've been writing a novel since like last year. But even when I work like in advertising, I cannot sit at the desk. All my work is done on the couch, with the feet like on my ottoman, and my computer on my lap. That's how I write. And if I sit at the desk, I assure you I can't write a single word.
To each his own, I guess. I have a little desk at home. It's not even a desk. If you remember, in school days, we used to
You have a little, yes. Do you have one of those?
and your writing place is attached to it. I have one
Yeah.
of those.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
So in that position, when you write, you are in an embryonic position.
Right.
So you're curled up almost while you're writing. When you're curled up, you're actually like a baby with no past which is driving you. It is almost like you are imagining things. You're
like that
hearing
a lot.
things. So I love that position. I'm leaning into my work. I'm almost shutting myself to the rest of the world. And I love that. Of course, the past is there, which influences you. But that seems to be a position of liberation and not of confinement.
That's beautiful. I think like just to know different habits and how people write, it's so fascinating because I grew up writing like using the typewriter and be writing poems since I was like a little kid. But when I was in my young years, in my 20s, like the typewriter, the metallic sound, the fact that you have to push on it, like the fact that you can't correct anything, you cannot look up at anything, it was very raw, and it created like a very defined time and space in my youth. But throughout the years, like I think I can still write poems on a typewriter, but I cannot write short story or novellas or like or a novel on a typewriter. I need a computer. and I need to be seated in a certain kind of position. But it's so interesting.
It is, it's so different. You love it that way. You won't believe it. I still love my pen and pencil. When I express myself, nothing gets expressed more than taking a pen or pencil and write something. I was not a typewriter person in terms of the age of development, and I never loved the computer. I still don't. I, in fact, say something to students and younger people about computers, and I say, if you peep into a computer, you will see data.
Yeah.
If you raise your head, you will see the world.
Yeah.
Find a balance between the two.
But yeah, no, of course, like, to me, it's only like a tool to truly, like, write. And what helped me is the sound of the plastic keyboard. I'm very attached to the sound, so that actually nurture me and feed me. And so I rely on the sound a lot. And
It's quite amazing.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with you. It's that sound. To me, it's also the sound. When the lead hits the paper,
Yeah.
I can hear that hissing.
The scratching on the paper.
That the
yeah.
hissing, the scratching. And same, you may not hear it loud enough for him to hear it, but I'm hearing it. I'm feeling it. And there are a number of times when I write something, there's not a single T's that you cross or the I's that you dot. That has been changed. It just came the way it was and never made a correction.
It's believed that we can only attract according to the frequency we are operating on. Attraction is a secondary law. The primary law of living is vibration, the universe's fundamental principle. Everything around us is in continuous motion. This table, this chair, this entire room. You can only attract what's in harmony with your frequency. What frequency is your creative mind on?
I think the frequency is the chemistry that is being shared by human beings more than you are influenced by inanimate objects, but it's the human beings. When I'm talking to you, there's some frequency happening between you and me. That is the frequency. Interactive frequency is the frequency I love. Even if I'm sitting in nature, it's the birds that I hear, it's the murmuring of the leaves. So I think you are responding to something that's happening. It's not just you. The moment you confine yourself to yourself, then you are not getting the frequency of the world around you.
Yeah.
And to me, that makes it very, very boring.
Yeah, no, I can truly like empathize with that, because when you find someone and you establish a conversation and the conversation has chemistry, you really find yourself on the same frequency, like a radio station.
Yes.
But by the same token, when you find someone, establish a conversation, and this person is so different from you, and there is no point of contact, you start hearing almost like the scratching sound of a radio station. And it's literally like, it shows you how like you are on a totally different frequency, and nothing will come out of that type of conversation.
Yeah,
I think
like that.
yeah, and that's what they call chemistry, right?
Yes.
Which is a very interesting word, because they use a scientific term. They don't use any like romantic term. They use chemistry
To express an
something-
emotional thing.
Yes, to express emotion, because we are made of particles. Okay, Patti Smith in her poem wrote, "No one expected me, everything awaited me." Is this how you felt when you switched your career from playing cricket to advertising? Everybody was awaiting you. Everything was awaiting you.
No, I don't think anyone expected me. I arrived. I arrived not even expecting anything for myself. So
She's saying, no one expected me. Everything awaited me.
that in hindsight, I can say yes, everything awaited me because in this business, it was waiting for a change to happen.
Okay.
And I was a change. I was a change, which some people thought was, what the hell's going on here? And some people said, hey, something interesting is happening here. So circumstances were awaiting me. People were not awaiting me. And in a period of time, it turned to saying they said, we were expecting something. So it's not that linear.
So is it fair to say that you find yourself at the beginning of your career at the right time and the right place?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll
That
give you
made
an
a lot of
example. I'll give
difference.
you an example of this. I joined this industry in 1982.
Yeah.
1982 is when big Asian Games happened in India and color TV started reaching the homes of people.
Yeah, we had in Italy in 1977 color TV.
Yeah. So that took you into homes of people. Now my thinking was about reaching people and being able to interact with them, being able to engage them. So yes, right time, right place, and I must have done something right.
Of course. Yeah, that's make a lot of difference. So you're here to receive the LIA Legend Award, which is like a big deal. Let's be honest. In the time, but I want to read a passage of a beautiful playwright by William Saroyan. But to read this passage, the playwright is called In the Time of Your Life. But the preface of the playwright, it's even better than the playwright itself. The preface is this like paragraph called In the Time of Your Life. And it says something like this. These are only a few words. In the time of your life, live, so that in the wondrous time you shall not add to the misery and sorrow of the world, but shall smile to the infinite delight and mystery of it. When was the last time that you smiled back at the world?
Now.
That the world smiled at you?
Now.
No, I knew it.
I think if you don't smile back at the world, you will become a recluse.
Can you see the world smiling at you? Because it's not that easy to see, to recognize that the world is smiling at you.
I think it's not that difficult.
For
You know,
certain kind of
you
people,
know that
probably.
when the world is mocking you,
Right.
you know when the world is smiling at you with joy, you know that the smile may not show as a smile on the lips of the person, but the smile shows in the eyes of the person. So when the world is liking your presence, then I think the world is smiling at you with joy.
That's beautiful. Last question. LIA is an award show built entirely for creatives. A space where creativity is both nurtured and respected. One thing I've learned about creativity is that unlearning is just as important as learning. There is a beautiful quote by Alvin Toffler that say the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. What have you unlearned in 2024? Something that you unlearn.
I think I've unlearned the fact that I know it all. I know it all.
Oh, okay.
I see youngsters looking at life a little differently. A little earlier, I said, this is nonsense. Now I'm saying, hello, if I haven't learnt it, I can't call it nonsense. So I've unlearned the feeling of saying, the younger people know lesser than you do.
That's beautiful. Look, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come here, like visit like Ocean 18 and come aboard our ship. I can only wish you the best, and it was like a fantastic like conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and it's a great joy to be on your ship
Thank
as you take me on a voyage. And we will meet again sometime and share with
sure.
each other where the voice is taking you and taking me.
Thank you, Piyush.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.